I was fishing last Friday on a lake in Mississippi in the humid summer heat. On a boat with my best friend Cletus, who was sleeping in the back seat. Well, the bites were slow and we were running low on chips and Gatorade. It'd been a long, hard day. I felt a tug on the line and I didn't pay attention. It was spinning way too fast. Before I knew it, I was staring at a 10-pound shiny bass. And when I tried to pull the fish inside, I pulled a muscle in my upper thigh. I was so scared. I threw my rod up in the air.
This evening, we have a few guests on tonight, but yeah, this one's going to start off interesting. And don't mind him. He thinks he needs to take over the desk tonight, so I'm trying to work with him here. I think it's the popcorn I had earlier. Anyway, yeah, we're about to have one very interesting show. Cletus, take the reel, and we will get this thing started now. We'll see you in a few. All right, we're back. It's official. If you didn't notice, this show was planned at the very last second, partly brought to you by a friend of mine that sent me a message this morning. He always sends a bunch of troll videos, stuff like that, TikTok stuff, whatever. So I figured, okay, whatever. I'll open what he sent me. And that sent my day down the path we have now gotten to. The first story tonight, you know what? I'm going to let you brace yourselves for this one. If you haven't already poured yourself a drink or gotten your eye bleach ready, you may want to do that. But in the meantime, I'm going to read some of these chats really quick. New tune coming this weekend. It might be a bit of a surprise. So Jeffrey Paul has something coming out. Be sure to subscribe to him. He is, after all, the reason for the opening video there, along with Billy Von Baum, who did the deep fake video itself. But Jeffrey Paul did all the music you hear there. Not the original opening that we just did with Cletus Take the Rio, but the actual intro. So go check out Jeffrey Paul and Billy Von Baum. Subscribe to both their channels. We've got MM4356. What up, you Gilf gurgling gamer? Well, how's it going, man? Shit. All right. We have Crusader Nate, Jeffrey Paul, thumbs up. Great to see you here, good sir, and looking forward to your new creations. Hell yeah, I agree with that. Eric Zombro's in the house tonight. And who else do we have here? Mile High Ronin is here as well. I think I'm all caught up with relevant chats, unless I miss anything. MM4356, sorry, but my booze is being made. Well, you may want to make it faster, because I'm about to share some shit with you. And I'm going to let these guests come on so they can enjoy your reaction as well. Because this is just, why? You know that doomsday clock that they keep talking about? It's like 9 seconds till doomsday now or something. I say we just let it get to zero. I really do. Especially after the story that I keep delaying sharing with you. You might agree with me after tonight, but let's start in reverse. Who the hell is this? Let's try this first, since I have no idea who this is. We'll see what happens here. Hello, Cornbread. Welcome to the show. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to?
Same guy that's always named Corn something.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Corn Pop is in the house this evening. Black.
I'm going to have to change that name when Biden leaves.
Yeah, you're being ominous and black here, though. But, that is fine. We also have, there you go. We also have Billy Von Baum in the house this evening. I am actually quite looking forward to your rant this evening, sir. I saw you got spun up and gilded, and I would love for you to go off here tonight live.
Do it.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right. We also have, I've got the full house tonight. We've also got Nate in the house. Not Crusader Nate, not yet. But Nate, how's it going, sir? Can you hear us? Can we hear you?
Man. Yeah, I've crusaded some things, but I'm not Crusader Nate.
Well, we can save your crusading stories for another day. He is on the road. He is being safe, however, as we can clearly see his phone is mounted to something. Audio quality might not be the best this evening for him, but we'll do our best. Nathan, what is your channel's name so we can check you out as well?
It's called What's Up, Colorado. Don't have any content yet because I've been bouncing around position to position in this job I'm at. So trying to find the time to make some videos is not happening just yet.
I hear you. I'm going to post that link in the chat as soon as I have it pulled up. In the meantime, we have the Crusader Nate also in the house tonight. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, you know me, just living a dream, this wonderful dream we keep living in.
Oh, yeah.
Good God.
About to get your riot on.
Oh,
What's up, Colorado? Let me get that in the chat.
this is going to be a fun one.
Check it out.
Things are just getting better every day.
Colorado, if I can spell. Here we go. What's up, Colorado? And you've got the picture of like a sunset type deal there, yeah?
Yeah.
Nate? Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to post that in the chat now. You guys, he doesn't have any content yet, But be sure to check him out. Well, he has content. Just watch his first video. It's only 1 minute and 49 seconds. Watch that about 400 times. Just as you go to sleep tonight, just put it on repeat, and that'll help get his views up so he can go live. All right. We also have our resident pain in the ass with the bullshit reports on Pop Stream Thursday nights. We have the Jackal, the Emperor. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Just marching on one day at a time and awaiting God's green light to exfil.
Well, there you go. All right. Who else do we have? We have one more gentleman in the house this evening. We've got MGTOW Mando in the house. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, same as always. Just wondering what kind of craziness is going to come next week.
You notice how enthusiastic our guests are. They're just like the most joy-filled happy people I've ever had the pleasure of talking to.
Yay!
I don't know what you're talking about. I've got my own home brandy beer here. I'm perfectly happy.
Yeah. All right, let's check the chat really quick again. We've got Jeffrey Paul giving a shout out to Billy Von Baum. Let's see. Yes, Mr.
What's
Paul
up,
is in the
Jeffrey?
house this evening. And we have Ghost Pill. Hang on. Ghost Pill, I might have to fly back to Colorado for
Oh,
Is that like
Oh.
Don't do it.
That's not good. Yeah, I know. Family court. That's not good.
I don't know what's more enjoyable, family court or Colorado.
it's
Depends on if you're in Denver. It depends if you're anywhere near Denver.
Yeah.
it depends
Yeah,
on the context. Is the family court on fire?
Well, yeah, allegedly.
marshmallows.
We've got Polska Bob, gentleman 07. So I see you there, Polska. And
Polska.
Jeffrey Paul, Jackal, my brother, giving you a shout out there. MM4356. Sorry, guys, I'm talking over here, just trying to get through the chat really quick. MM4356 says, Billy Von Baum, nice name
Someone
change.
named Nate.
Yeah, careful with that guy. He's nuts.
I just realized that. Someone not named nice.
This seems to be the night of the Nates. So
I should just
Yeah.
make everybody Nate 1 through what 1, 2, 3. There you go. 7 Nates tonight. We'll just do that. All right. We also have LS, and I am delaying the story on purpose. I am procrastinating here. LS420. I gotta ask, where does Jackal get the video game gameplay for his bullshit reports? Well, Jackal, he's asking, so the floor is yours, sir.
For the most common game that I use for the bullshit reports, that is Ravenfield, which, to my knowledge, is still a free-to-play game on Steam. At least that is the easiest access platform that I currently use. I'm sure you can get it in other places, but Ravenfield, that is the name of the game. Although you're not going to get all of the components that you see. Oh shit, I'm knocking shit over. In the background that you see, that is because I run almost 300 mods on the game at any one time in order to get
Fair
all
enough.
of the cool little widgets and stuff like that. I was, at least for this most recent bullshit report yesterday, I was the U.S. Marines from 2042, the year 2042, battlefield, fighting against the Chinese.
Gotcha. All right, so there you go. If you want to check that out, looks like there are a few other guys live tonight as well. Go figure. It's a Friday. It's popular, and everybody likes to go live at the same time I do. So there you go. Let's see. We have one more chat. Jimmy's making waffles at the moment, by the way. Don't know when he'll be back. Anyway, Mile High Ronan, arrive on vacation, wind up on probation, due time because of revocation. This is Colorado. Holy shit. Isn't that true? Yeah, you're not far off from the truth there, sir.
Remind me to never move to Colorado.
No.
Right.
No.
It used to be nice. It used to be nice. Then they legalized pot and it started going to shit with remarkable speed.
Colorado's landscape is just fine. It's just all the fucking parasites
have
living
enough
on it
mountains?
that are the problem.
Do you have
Like
enough?
I said,
have
it was
mountains.
fine 10 years ago.
Yeah, we have mountains, we have lakes, we have rivers, we have sand dunes, we have basically desert in some areas. We got everything. We just have too many parasites living here is all.
Do you have very horrendous winters?
No,
it depends on who you're talking to or where you're living.
Well,
but,
I want to move to a state that has very harsh winters.
No. It
Alaska.
Go to the mountains. Go to the
All right,
mountains.
I'm going to Alaska. Fuck it.
The worst part of Colorado winters is that you get the Texans coming up who think that four-wheel drive also means four-wheel stop.
Oh, well.
That's not just a Colorado thing.
All right. Gentlemen, on that note, we're going to move into our first topic this evening. I promised you, those of you watching right now, you're going to want to get your drinks ready. I was not
Pour
prepared.
yourselves the menagerie.
Yeah, see, this
I have
morning,
a salty drink.
I'm giving.
That's what she said.
No, I'm serious.
This morning, look. No, I don't want to hear any more. You just said enough. Salty, got it. Okay. We're gonna leave it there.
Gosh,
look, I'm gonna give you guys the G-rated version of this that I didn't unfortunately get to see. No, I opened a video and got to see said event, and it ruined my fucking morning.
Question: Did the
Yes.
video you saw this morning, was it rated T for Thumper?
Or was it rated R for rigs?
No. Well,
this is
about. It may have been rated R for rigs.
It was a little bit more Riggs style.
Raunchy for rigs.
Raunchy for rigs.
If you don't,
all right, let's tell them.
Then you don't.
All right.
Don't want to know.
Let's tell the audience. They have to hear this because
here we go.
If he's gonna be scarred, everyone's gonna be scarred.
I fucking warned you. If you're still here, I'm sorry. You could be watching Undead Chronic right now, but instead you're here, and I am so sorry for you. Here we go. All right. So our very first article tonight: horny sickos film themselves romping on a grave. That's okay. And using a fish to pleasure each other. I shit you not. You can find this somewhere on the internet. It's been removed from Reddit already. But if you'd like to see the footage of us,
Reddit should be the last place that it would be taken off of.
It was.
You'd be surprised what actually will get taken off of Reddit.
Here's the issue: it may or may not be a criminal act in the country of origin because technically it falls under the category of bestiality. Anyway, let's get into this, shall we? The footage shot on the Australian island of Tasmania has seen the couple slam for their depraved behavior. You fucking think? Local police have now been made aware of the footage and are investigating. And yes, the fish did look like that in its final moments. That's a pretty accurate description of what I saw there.
Brings a whole new meaning to battered fish.
Battered fish, indeed. Yeah. Whole new meaning to it.
The question I have to ask is, was it a beer battered fish?
It was a furry trout, is what it was.
I was just going to say there's something fishy about this story. Sorry.
Hey, look, now if anybody's asking you why it smells like fish, now you know.
Yeah, now you know. All right, moving on.
It smells so bad.
Vile footage of a couple taking part in 2 depraved sex scenes has been circulating online. In one of those clips, the couple is seen having sex on top of a grave. Okay, that's been done before. I'll let that go. Okay. While during another graphic video shot on a boat, the pair are seen using a live, you heard that correct, OnlyFans style trout during the sex act. And you could read more about whatever clickbait is there, but we'll move on. The repulsive footage was sent to Tasmanian-based newspaper, The Mercury in Australia, by a concerned member of the public. The anonymous person condemned the depraved behavior. Yeah, because, I condone fish fucking all the time. Let me break this down for you. I'm gonna try not... Take your drink first, okay? Make sure you got it all the way down. We'll go on from there. Just go ahead. I'm gonna get mine too. Do this together. I want to lay out the scene for you. It was a cold December evening. It was actually quite sunny. It looked like a small private boat, okay? And you see a woman wearing some kind of baseball cap, branded baseball cap. She's in her probably mid to late 50s, so I want to make that a clear visual for you. Slightly.
So your type.
Yeah, no, slightly on the larger side. Very pale and obvious wrinklage going on. Okay. And she's got some kind of blanket over. So, okay, you're wearing a blanket on a boat. Maybe it's cold out there. I don't know. They're already doing the Australian accent thing, whatever. Yeah, it makes me fucking horny, baby. Whatever the fuck. That was more British, but whatever. Then it pans down. and what you see is a hairy bush. And then you scroll down a little bit further, and there is the obvious slimy victim, fully face first inserted into an orifice. And the
fish eating
person,
the fish, huh?
there's a person holding the fish, talking dirty to this woman, saying how much she loves it, and this is how you catch a fish with your kitty, and forcing this fish in and out. Occasionally you see its poor fucking face, and this fish is alive, and it looks like it's trying to get its last breath out of the way so it can just fucking leave this planet and get back to whatever it was doing prior in the fish afterlife. I wanted to set that scene for you. That's what I witnessed this morning. So there you go. If you guys want to find that, I'm sure you can find it on the fucking internet. It was awful. Anyway, this is. Go ahead, gentlemen. I'm going to let you have the floor. What are your thoughts so far?
We came running on patrol and we saw her.
It's a real fish eat fish world.
The great white. The great white eating it.
Talk about a granny grouper.
Like
To me, something just seems fishy about this.
Right?
Listen, quiet. Do you want to hear the story? Or don't you? The great white. I saw her with my own eyes. We came up riding on patrol. I looked down and I saw that great white eating that fish, devouring her. Something I never forget. Eyes like those eyes. And it just kept pounding and pounding and pounding.
God
The
damn.
blood and guts were all over that floor. He'd never seen nothing like that before. 20 fish go into her. None come back out.
Aye, that'd be nothing.
That's all I got.
Jeffrey
Wow.
Paul just had a good one.
Good hell, folks.
Wow.
Aye.
Good thing it wasn't a puffer fish. Jesus Christ.
Hey, swordfish.
Oh yeah, that would have been more fitting.
You never know. She might have enjoyed the swordfish.
Yeah.
Man of
Oh,
war.
yeah.
For colon and other intestines.
LS420 Stoner, I miss the old days and how bestiality perverts were handled back then. Yeah. No, this has been labeled. If you guys want to find this depravity online, they're calling it trout for clout.
Accurate.
So if you want your mind permanently scarred like mine was, trout
Does
for
not help
clout.
that
You
I'm
too
drinking
can
a
watch this.
salty beverage.
I am sending this to all my old military buddies.
Oh,
Anyway, let's move on and get through the rest of this article.
Turn back ye before you see it. I warn you now, lads. Turn back.
All right.
Aye,
News.au.com. Hang on, guys. News.au.com reported that in one of the clips, the unidentified woman is seen laying on top of the grave at a cemetery in Cressy Longsitten on the Australian island. I don't know if I butchered that or not, probably. She is wearing nothing but a button-down orange shirt. Okay, visuals, cool, whatever. Her companion then walked towards her and began having sex with her while saying, well, there's someone's grave. It's a grave, babe. Okay, wow. And I can hear their voices still in my head, so that's awful. We're going to fuck on the grave. That's where it's at. Okay, cool, awesome. But there's more. The woman added, to the souls of the faithfully departed, may they rest in peace. Jesus Christ. More graphic and crude language followed in the second clip, which is understood to contain the same woman, showed her lying on a boat in the ocean. a male was using a live trout to perform a sexual act on her. Let's just call it what it was. That trout was a full-fledged dildo at the time. All right.
At least it was self-lubricating.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Well, with the scales, wouldn't that actually be painful coming out? Because when the scales are going against the grain, it would be scraping the inside.
It's a trout. It's a trout. It's slimy. Yeah. I just
aren't trout smooth-scaled fish?
Yeah, they're yeah.
You said it was slimy. Are you talking her or are you talking the fish?
Well, both. Both.
Yeah. Both. You have two sources of lubrication and one scaly, poor, unfortunate fish whose last moments were in a dark pink, possibly cyst leveled cave.
Yeah. Ray Pacheco says, did the fish swab her poop deck too? No, they briefly talked about it, but I don't think the fish was cooperating with the poop deck.
So it wasn't a brown trout.
No.
It was after.
Can't hard trout.
And this is the opening story. This is where we start tonight. All right. More like Jeffrey Paul says, more like bass for bush. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was a trout, but that is good. Mile High Ronan says that's a sketchy deck. Swab it yourself. And then Thumper the Sweaty Fat Guy. I'm on a boat. Yeah. If you know the song, you know the song. All right.
Okay, telling that story, my cat actually groaned.
Jeffrey Paul or trout for twat. Now see that one, I can get behind that one. So do the fish. Anyway, definitely would be a bottom feeder then. Yeah, absolutely. That is MM4356 and Thumper the Sweaty Fat Guy. The horror. Yes, and yes.
And the horror.
And the horror. The horror and the horror. The trout with the clout. All right. Moving on. That's how you catch a trout, the man was heard saying. Investigations claim the grave belonged to a popular Tasmanian artist, David Hammond Chapman, who was born in Ballarat in 1927 and died in Cressy in 1983. Tasmania police had not been made aware of the first video, according to the spokesman. No formal report had been made to the Tasmania police regarding the video, and it is unknown if the matter occurred in Tasmania, they told Mercury. Let's see. We encourage anyone who may have information to notify Crime Stoppers at 1-800-333-000. All right. And that's from the Daily Star in the UK. Anyway, I hope that has enlightened all of you and you have learned something educational this evening with the first article.
Well, I just want to say something. I mean, looking at the neighborhood, it looks a little dead, so probably not many witnesses.
Damn. I was going to say they deserve a haunting if they get it.
Hang on, Crusader. Given the fact that we are talking about Australia and we're not talking about somewhere in Europe, the odds of there being Draugr or any other major undead are very limited.
They've got the only dead pussy to be nailed there.
Believe me, they have their own stories down there.
I believe you. That was a weak attempt at humor, given the fairly demented thing we just dealt with.
Well,
and 4356 says, great. Now there are crabs on the trout.
You know, this does remind me of a really old, semi-bad joke.
Shouldn't go any lower than we already have already.
No, we've hit the bottom of the barrel.
With the knocking?
All right, you want to go ahead and risk it on your stream, Rhino? There's no profanity. There's no profanity in it.
I've already cussed, so
okay. God's walking in the Garden of Eden, and he comes across Adam wearing this really big, snarky grin. And God looks at Adam and goes, "Oh, what'd you do to get that grin?" And Adam goes, "Me and Eve just had sex." God goes, "Oh, where's Eve?" God goes, "Oh, she's down in the river washing up." And God goes, "Oh, great, now the fish are going to sound like that or smell like that forever."
Oh, Jesus.
That's an old one.
Wow. That's a good one.
That's why they always
old
think.
But a goodie.
All right. Let's see. Let's see if I missed.
She just would lay there and take it like a dead fish.
And it goes on and on.
She used the cold starfish form.
She ain't going down with 3 trout in her.
There's something just utterly fishy about this overall exchange.
Right.
That was too easy.
Well, let's just say that fish met another form of jaws that it would never find in the ocean.
Well, no, and hang on. We are talking about Australia. Are we sure it wasn't a beer-battered fish?
Could have been.
Well, it definitely
No, this was a lie. This
It was battered. It was definitely
It was battered, all right. Yeah, it was definitely battered.
It was battered.
All right.
Yeasty.
You ain't seen nothing till you seen the great white coochie.
That turned into a horror story for any fish that have snow.
Well, it's kind of a horror story, but
MM4356, we haven't even gotten close to the bottom yet.
No.
What, to the bottom of the Cruchuda triangle?
No. He's.
Oh, Riggs is here.
MM4350, I'm probably screwing that name up, said that we hit the bottom of the barrel and started digging. Oh, trust me, we haven't even come close yet.
Well, we've got a couple other stories for you this evening. I'm not sure which order I want to do them in yet. It's kind of a toss-up because they're both, they're both interesting. One of them, here, how about this? Audience, one in the chat. If you want to just see some weird ass fuckery that maybe you've already seen today, maybe not. I don't know if you're paying attention to the news today, or alternatively,
we already talked about the fish and the twats.
Well, there's that. Yeah. Okay, number 2 in the chat if you want to see Billy get spun up, because 2 in the chat if you want to see Billy get spun up. 1 in the chat if you want current news. I hear 2.
Bless you.
Well, bear in mind, people are probably already getting hammered, so at least one of the stories will fit.
All right, Billy getting spun up based on Thumper the Sweaty Fat Guy voting multiple times, which is okay. Channel 1-800-DUMB is also 2. Mile High Ronin is also at 2. And Jackal, LS420, and MM4356, all 2. So we're going to get Billy spun up.
I rarely get spun up, but this story is just infuriating.
This is Billy taking the floor.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go. Show the story.
Okay. Taking him off the screen.
Top news.
Top news. Yes, it's something. All right. Let me make sure I get the right article up here. Give me just a second if you guys want to waffle. Where the fuck is Jimmy when I need him?
He's making up batter for tomorrow.
There we
Sounds
go.
like it.
We've got a musician here.
Go with the story already.
I'm working on it,
Jimmy's
damn it.
probably doing some beer batter waffles somewhere. Or
Yeah. Maybe he's filleting a trout.
right.
Hopefully it's not a trout we were just talking about.
Could be.
You never know. Never know.
Fresh caught.
Or he could have gone Walt Disney already. You never know.
And freshly marinated, by the way.
Story was the fucking herpes the fish got.
Oh, you know what? We need to make up an urban dictionary for that Australian story and send it to Blake for Tuesday.
Yes.
Ooh.
So one of you got to get on that. I don't know shit about Urban Dictionary, but that would be awesome, especially because it's true. All right. I am bringing up the article now from CNN.com, the most trustworthy news source, YouTube. The most trustworthy news source ever. Just
Pretty
want to
sure it's NewsGuard certified too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. This article is from today at 12:08 p.m., just in time for the weekend.
Yay.
5 former Memphis officers indicted on murder and kidnapping charges in, is it Tyree Nichols? Is that how you pronounce that? I think it's Tyree.
Yeah, it looks like Tyree.
All right. Death as nation braces for release of police video. Oh, but wait, there's more. Let's see if this plays anything interesting here. I did not play this, so you'll know what I know as we see it live. Allow. Yes. Audio. Where's the audio? Oh, come on. I don't know what just happened there. Anyway,
Maybe the Down Under Fish fillet took it.
God. Did I share audio? That's the question. Let me make sure I did. This video contains graphic images. Viewer discretion is advised.
The Memphis police chief speaks out in a recorded statement.
All right, can you guys hear that in the chat?
Yes.
One, if you can hear it. Two, if you can't.
Both of them
Viewer
just assume we have
discretion,
discretion
Rhino,
after that
sir.
conversation.
That's channel 1-800-DUMB. By the way, good to see you. Haven't seen you in the last few episodes we've done, so good to see you here. And let's see. We'll press play here and get on with it.
Making clear there will be absolute accountability for those responsible for the death of 29-year-old Tyree Nichols.
This is not just a professional failing. This is a failing of basic humanity toward another individual. This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane.
Nichols died earlier this month after a violent arrest by 5 officers, 5 Memphis police officers, and 2 members of the Memphis.
By the way, I want to point
there
this
goes
out.
the narrative.
Yeah, they are calling this worse than Rodney King. That could be their narrative. Again, it's the weekend, just in time for the unemployed Antifa and Quifa to come out and do their thing. But let's continue.
Fire department have been terminated. Nichols' family is calling for charges to be filed as the community anxiously awaits the police camera footage to be released.
The family wants nothing but the absolute most charge that they can bring, and what they
That would be first-degree murder. But, you know, what do I know? They're cops.
want are murder charges.
Attorneys for the family have already viewed the footage, and an independent autopsy paid for by the family reveals Nichols died from, quote, extensive bleeding caused by a severe beating.
I hate the fact that us as Black people, we're out here killing each other.
That's right.
For what? I don't know why. What happened to the humanity and kindness?
That's right.
More importantly, what happened to it being the evil white man? I guess we missed the boat on that one. Just want to point that out.
Nichols was a driver for FedEx. He'll be.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Was it statistically that black on black crime is higher than white on black crime? Is that accurate? Crusader, could you pop the information up on that while we're watching this?
Yeah, I can look that up. It's Uniform Crime
Right.
Report. I believe it's about 97%, if I remember correctly.
Sounds
Thank you,
about
sir.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Remembered as a loving father and son, the baby of the family with a tattoo of his mother's name on his arm.
Nobody's perfect, okay? Nobody. But he was damn near. My son was a beautiful soul.
He liked to go to Starbucks most mornings where he befriended an unlikely group of people. One of those friends tells CNN Nichols was a free-spirited person, a gentleman who marched to the beat of his own drum. He enjoyed skateboarding and taking pictures of sunsets. A friend who knew Nichols in Sacramento said this of him. He was his own person and didn't care. He didn't fit into what a traditional Black man was supposed to be in California. He had such a free spirit, and skating gave him his wings.
For this to happen to him in this way, the pain is just, I have no words.
Let me mute that because it looks like it's moving on to another article or another video here. But let's go into the rest of this article. 5 former Memphis police officers who were fired for their actions. Yeah, notice how they were just fired. I mean, that's fine. Just fired. At least they were fired, not put on administrative leave. You know, that's nice for a change. But still, for their actions during the arrest of Tyree Nichols earlier this month, were indicted on charges including murder and kidnapping, which is nice. Finally, yeah, we'll see if it makes it to court and if they're charged. But anyway, moving on. Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy announced on Thursday, so that would be yesterday, I imagine. The former police officers Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Justin Smith, Emmett Martin, and Desmond Mills Jr. have each been charged with second-degree murder of aggravated assault. Second-degree murder should be first, but whatever. Second-degree murder, aggravated assault, 2 charges of God damn it, aggravated kidnapping, 2 charges of official misconduct, and 1 charge of official oppression. Official oppression. I have never heard of that charge before, but there you go.
It's when somebody in a position of authority uses that authority in an inappropriate or direct way to more or less get their way without doing the appropriate channels.
Oh,
There's
you mean like those police left that girl on the train tracks? That's feel like that would fall under that category.
Imagine if they enforced that charge against the FBI.
Yeah, no shit.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's a charge that has a federal equivalent.
I got you.
But it in the military, it'd be equivalent to undue command influence.
Okay. All right, let's continue on here really quick. Second-degree murder is defined in Tennessee as knowingly. It says knowing killing of another, but I believe it's supposed to be knowingly killing of another, and is considered a Class A felony, punishable between 15 to 60 years in prison, unless it's pled out. And if they plead out, if they allow for a plea, that could be anything from a slap on the wrist to a year to whatever. Just depends on how that goes. Honest to God, it's kind of unless there's a mandatory minimum. If there's a mandatory minimum, the 15 would be the minimum. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I am not a judge. Anyway, the criminal charges come about 3 weeks after Nichols, a 29-year-old black man, was hospitalized after a traffic stop. Isn't that wonderful? And this makes you wonder why people are not stopping there's articles in this state where people are no longer stopping for traffic stops anymore. I wonder why. I mean, I was just stopped for a traffic stop last week. Makes me wonder, how could it easily just turn into this? I don't know, but it makes you wonder why people are not stopping anymore. Shocking. Anyway, stopped and confrontation with Memphis police that the family attorneys have called a savage beating. Nichols died from his injuries on January 10th, 3 days after the arrest, authorities said. Police nationwide have been under scrutiny for how they treat black people, particularly since the Minneapolis police murder of George Floyd. It wasn't a murder. He was ODing, but whatever. We'll move on from there. In May 2020, and the mass protest movement known as the Black Lives, big, what was it?
Buying large mansions.
Buying large mansions, that's it. Excuse me. Just want to be correct on our pronunciation of that. President Joe Biden said Thursday, the killing is a painful reminder that we must do more to ensure our criminal justice system lives up to the promise of fair and impartial justice, equal treatment, and dignity for all. Yeah, anything said by that man, as far as, criminal justice system, until that individual is in court on trial for having classified documents in multiple locations, I don't want to hear shit. Especially when we now have, this is me getting banned on YouTube. We now have information suggesting that the ties to the deals done in Ukraine are interestingly tied to the emails on Hunter's laptop, which correlate with the classified documents. There is evidence to suggest that the Biden family did in fact profit substantially from those classified documents. So there you go. You can look that up yourselves. Steve Turley did a video on it. If you want to check that out, go over to Steve Turley and check out his latest videos. Anyway, back to the article. Officials in Memphis have braced for potential civil unrest, conveniently planned for Friday's release of this article today, and have called for peaceful protest ahead of the video, because that always works. The fatal police encounter that expected to be publicly released Friday. And we have it, and we're going to show you. And I don't know if we have to show you on New Tech.
I would take it to New Tech. I would not risk it on YouTube. I did watch it. It is not. I don't think it's safe for you.
The stupid thing is the video I have is on YouTube, but you know how they have double standards with channels like mine. Anyway, the local school district also canceled all after-school activities Friday. In the interest of public safety, police departments across the country, including Los Angeles, Atlanta, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, told CNN they were either monitoring events or already had plans in place in case of protests. Nichols' family attorneys, who were shown in the video Monday, said it shows officers severely beating Nichols and compared it to the L.A. police beating of Rodney King in 1991. Family attorney Antonio Romanucci told CNN the public should be prepared for a disturbing scene, saying it was like an MMA fight. Yeah, 5-on-1 isn't really MMA, but sure. While Nickel was helpless, he was defenseless, he was restrained. That's pretty fucked up. Nichols' mother, Ravon Wells, who said she hasn't been able to watch it, said the video release will be horrific, but I urge protesters to remain peaceful. I don't want us burning up our cities because that's worked so well in the past, tearing up the streets because that's not what my son's son stood for. And I agree with her. I absolutely agree with her. I don't know her son's story. I don't know his life, but burning down small family businesses and injuring innocent people because you're upset is never a solution. And I don't know why these people think it's justified. Obviously, there can be some psychology behind that, the reason people do what they do and why they do it. They're obviously angry. There is a distrust in certain positions of authority in this country, especially after the last few years. People don't believe in the legitimacy of a lot of these authorities, including police. However, and I just want to state this because this is my channel and I'm going to be held accountable here regardless. If somebody comes banging on my door asking questions, I do not condone violence in any way, shape, or form to protest any kind of grievance. Okay. I have to say that just to make it clear to you, the audience, and to anybody else from an alphabet agency that I do not condone that kind of violence, period. Hands down. However, I do understand where people are coming from. I just wish they'd use it more constructively versus destructively. Imagine if we all, oh God, here's my John Lennon moment. Imagine if we all came together and took on the problem all at the same time with the same end goal and the same mission. Imagine if we actually worked together in this country to take down corruption. Imagine, if you will.
mean like we allegedly once did?
Yeah, at one point in this country, but
Battle of Athens.
we're so divided right now, and that's Battle of Athens is one example. There's actually a few. Anyway, we'll get back to this, but I just want to make that clear. I do not condone violence myself on this channel. So Glowies, those of you paid to listen to me, there you go. All right. Mills, 32, and Smith, 28, posted a $250,000 bond Thursday evening and were released according to jail records. In a joint news conference Thursday afternoon, Blake Ballin, an attorney for Mills, and William Massey, Martin's attorney, said they have not yet watched the video of the police encounter, which is expected to be released to the public Friday. Ballin described Mills as a respectful father who was devastated to be accused in the killing. Mills, previously a jailer in the Mississippi and Tennessee, Mississippi and Tennessee. Ballin said he had not spoken to Mills specifically about Nichols. Martin also intended to post bond and will plead not guilty. I mean, sure, it's your right, but you're on camera, whatever. You have the right to a trial. Fine. Understood. His attorney said, no one out there that night intended for Tyree Nichols to die. Well, we'll let the video speak for itself, and we'll get there, probably on new tech. I do want to hear Billy's reaction to this here soon. We're going to have him take the floor here momentarily, but let me finish this up. Other officers' attorneys did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Those were the smart attorneys, in my opinion, but that's here nor there. Video to be released Friday evening. I have it pulled up on my screen right now, so you all watching can see it. Video of the fatal police encounter, a mix of body camera and a pole cam video, is expected to be, I think we have the pole cam version, by the way, is expected to be released publicly after 6 p.m. It is 8 p.m. here, but I don't know if that's Eastern. It doesn't matter. It's already out. Speaking to CNN's Aaron Burnett on Thursday night, Mulroy said that while he can't definitively say what caused the encounter to escalate, the video shows the officers were already highly charged up from the start of the video, and it just escalated further from there. The video doesn't capture the beginning of the altercation between the officers and Nichols, but rather cuts in as the first encounter is in progress. Now, it's my understanding that body cameras are supposed to be on, period, so that's interesting. I'll leave it at that. All right. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation Director David Roush said that a fatal encounter was not proper policing, and it still goes on. This is a longer article. We're about halfway through. Billy, I'm going to let you have the floor here for a moment, though. What are your thoughts? Because I know this one pissed you off, sir.
Well, there's a lot to this story. I mean, and there's a lot to be pissed off over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, you're a little younger than me, but I can tell you, I felt in the 90s, I think you were a little too young to remember the 90s that well. But in the 90s, I felt we had it right. I didn't feel that I mean, look, we had problems. There's always been problems with racial relationships and whatnot. But I think at that time, we were doing pretty good, right? Like, it wasn't this tension I feel that we have now. And I mean, we elected, Obama, we had a black president, right? We went from a country that had, had those people in, slavery. Then they went through the whole Jim Crow South shit and the civil rights movement and all that. I thought we got kind of to a place where it was like, we're healing, right? And then within the last, I don't know, I would have to say since Obama, like Band-Aids have been ripped off and not just ripped off, like picked at and opened up and cut and bled all over the place.
Now, really quickly, just to interject and add to that point, do you feel, and I do myself, but I just want your opinion, do you feel that that was by design?
It's hard to say. You can go down the rabbit hole of, is there like a China conspiracy or communism conspiracy behind this that you go back to that Yuri
Bezmenov.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who basically said, just turn the races against each other and they'll just tear each other apart, right? That's what they said back in like 84 or something like that.
Well, here's my thought on that really quick, and this is just my opinion, and then I'll let you get back into this. But in the last few years, because I'm from the late 80s, grew up in the 90s, I remember most of the 90s pretty well, and I don't remember this. I don't remember what we have going on right now. I remember things being much different. How do I explain this simply? In the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, I've seen this escalation where, let's just put it this way. We have the racial diversity casting. We have to throw this minority in. We have to throw that minority in. We need somebody from the confused poles and holes community to be on this show. We need at least one rainbow character. I feel like they are ramping up the division on purpose. They're doing this with properties, intellectual properties, franchises that you like, that you grew up on. Some of them 40, 50 years old, that they are just trashing with this woke diversity crap. And of course, it's causing that division. I feel like, and again, my opinion, this is intentional. They're driving wedges between everyone. Then you want to play feminism into this, not to go way too off in the weeds, but the red pill community, the MGTOW community versus feminism. We're driving a huge wedge and creating a war of the sexes here. This is all by design. They want this. We think we're escaping the trap. We're walking right into it. But that's here nor there. That's my opinion. But I feel like it's part of their plan. When nobody can come together, nor sex, nor race, nor religious belief, you've got a recipe for control and dominate right there. And again, in my opinion. But Billy, I'll let you have the floor again. Excuse me.
Well, to get back on point to this story, right? Yep. I thought things were kind of calming down again, at least a little bit. And now this is literally throwing gasoline on a raging fire. I mean, especially to release this video right before the weekend. I mean, come on. Who thought this out? I mean, and the press are they're building this up. They've been building this up all week. This is where, and it is, let me tell you, when you show this video, it's pretty It's pretty bad. I mean, I hate to say like something like this, but thank God there was no white cops involved in this thing, because you think the riots are going to get bad how it is. If this was white cops who did this, holy shit. I mean, this might really kick off a race war if it was white police. But I mean, these cops, let's go back to, the defund the police, right? So they've been defunding the police. Cops who knew what they were doing, who were well trained and whatnot, they're like, we're out. We're retiring. We don't want to put up with this bullshit. And a lot of guys have left that field, and then you get guys coming in who might not be as, decently trained or quite right in the head. I mean, I watched that video, and there's some guys in that, some of these cops, they're not right in the head. You wouldn't, unless you were just an awful human being, you wouldn't do that to to kick this guy. They were kicking this guy in the face. It was terrible. And then they picked him up after kicking him in the face like 4 or 5 times. Then they punched him.
Somebody in the chat here, channel 1-800-DUMB, explains what you're talking about. Took a 15-foot field goal at his head twice. So obviously kicked him pretty hard too.
And then they picked him up. You could see him, like he's barely can stand. They picked him up. Then one guy, he takes like a running punch at him. And then they smack him like a hard smack. And then they hit him like 2 more times, and he drops it. It was either that's personal vendettas maybe against this guy, possibly, or just maybe. People who are undertrained, who are they can't control their emotions. Like you're a cop, I feel that in that situation that you have 4 or 5 cops with you, right? What do you think this fucking one guy's going to do? What do you think he's going to fucking do?
And here's the problem.
Like that.
Whichever your theory is, again, they are in a position of authority. Neither one of your theories should be applicable here. They should be behaving in a professional manner. Now you're saying a couple of them don't appear right in the head, but neither one of those answers is right. It just isn't. It's bullshit, man. Anyway.
No. Tis all bullshit. And
by the way, quick interjection. Jimmy snuck in on us, so the Waffle House is here.
The Waffle House is here. So I will say this though. What I have seen so far, does it mitigate or whatever? I don't know what the fucking words I'm trying to find or whatnot. But from what I've seen, there may or may not have been something personal about this. Because are you serious? Does it really take 5 cops to apprehend one person? No, it doesn't. Does it take 2 or does it take 2 or 3? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And the evidence that has been brought forth, and from what I've seen, I'm starting to say that yes, these all 5 of these cops are in the wrong, very much in the wrong, because it would take what in a normal circumstance where, let's just say, yes, the guy is belligerent and we need backup. Okay, so we'll get 2-3 more units on scene.
Right.
Why does it take 5 to apprehend this person, but then this person also deserves to get the ever-living crapola beat out Ola of him?
Right. It would be pretty easy to subdue him with 5 people. And I want to bring up something that Polska says here really quick. I agree with him, unfortunately. Polska Bob says in the chat, yep, all the cops I know are just counting their days. Now, look, I'm not going to tell you defund the police. I'm not one of those assholes. However, I will tell you, I believe in the Constitution. I believe that it's set up for a reason. It still applies today. And most of these officers, there are a few good ones, but unfortunately, a few, in my opinion, again, I have to say this, until all of the good cops hold all the bad cops accountable, there are really no good cops. The good cops need to stand up and start holding their fellow officers accountable. Now, hang on a second.
Yep.
What I want to point out here is if I were an officer in this country today, especially today, I would be very concerned about finding another job. And the reason I say that is, again, this gentleman pulled over for a traffic stop, did what he was supposed to, pulled over. Now, how many people are going to say, you know what? And I'm just going to give you a visual reference. Fuck you. I'm not pulling over because I don't know what you're going to do to me. Cops are going to find it really hard to do their jobs when people no longer trust them. And this isn't the only incident. This is just the most recent. But what you're seeing right now, because of the bad actors that are still being employed on this force, which may be, again, done on purpose. There is somebody that mentioned that. LS420 Stoner mentions, just a note, when the politician says defund the police, the secret police aren't on their defund list. IMO, lowering training standards and filling diversity quotas is a recipe for a disaster. Not to mention the fact that if you are not trained and you're not aware of the Constitution and you're not put through your oath properly, you're just doing the job of the government. And there was a certain batch of people back in Germany in a certain year that also followed orders. It wasn't an excuse at the end of the day. Brown shirts. Yes, brown shirts. Yes, what he said. What he said down there, Jimmy said, you're setting up a recipe for this. You really are. And it's not good.
Yeah.
Can I point
bottom line
something out real
yes.
quick?
Let me finish my last thought, and then we'll move on from there. Bottom line, if I were a police officer on the force in any city in any county in this country right now, I'd be looking for another job. Not only because the country's just going to start fucking getting really weird here, but quite frankly, you may not be safe much longer. It's much better to find a job where you're not putting your life on the limb, out on the limb, because a bunch of other assholes on the police force aren't doing what they're supposed to and putting you now at risk because of public opinion.
Yep.
MGTOW Mando, go ahead.
Okay. Two things I'm going to point out real fast. One, it's not just the law enforcement community that is being put in a situation where they have a lot of bad apples that are interfering with their ability to do what they're supposed to properly. There's a lot of uniformed military personnel, and I think Corn Pop can probably attest to this as well.
Before my time, but yes, you're correct.
Your officers, for an example, but yes.
They're being put in a situation where they can either follow the orders they're given, even though they know those orders are inappropriate, to put it politely, or they can follow their conscience and lose their position, their career, their pension, and everything they've worked for.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these younger dingleberries that are coming in on the military side, a lot of the ones I've seen coming out of basic training, they don't deserve the uniform. They're not doing what they should be doing as soldiers. Now, as far as that goes with police, I wonder how many of them are individuals who actually grew up with stories like Dick Tracy and the Untouchables, or other stories where it was the police were the good guys and that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to join the force specifically to help people in bad situations. Nationwide, we are turning into Gotham City.
Oh yeah,
Yes, we are.
So that's a good analogy.
One thing
Hank?
that I do want to, I don't mean to interrupt you, Mando, but
That's fine.
There was one incident earlier this week let's just compare scenarios here, shall we? The SWAT team was, I can't remember where this was at. You can look it up yourself. Again, I can't give you the full details on it, but
It's like in Tennessee, right, or something like that.
A alleged active shooter scenario was called upon, and the entire SWAT team was going around this trailer court doing their thing. Okay, they're doing their job, no problem. We don't want active shooters. No one wants that. They pulled up on this one certain place. The male individual and female individual absolutely complied. They turned all of their lights on in their trailer. They walked out of their door with their hands up. The male out front, of course, was saying, "What the fuck is going on? What's going on? What's going on?" Yeah, that person was shot by the SWAT while they were being yelled at, saying, get down, and all that. I'm sure you've seen it if you were looking in the right situations.
Yeah.
To let's just say bow tie it into the recent situation, or pretty much any other situation in the past. Have there been riots? Have there been destruction because of this person being shot by police? No. Because
Jimmy,
you know what?
if you will, if you have a link to that video, please throw it in the live chat so those that don't know what you're talking about can watch it as well. You don't have to do it this second, just in the next few minutes or so.
Let me see if I can find it.
The final point I wanted to bring up on this, I want to say it was a certain dingleberry who may or may not either be dead or up for parole. Back in the 70s, was calling for something, and I don't know if this will get flagged by YouTube, so I'm going to weasel word it. Hector Skeleton.
Okay.
And he was basically calling for the equivalent of another race war in this country. And now he failed to get it to kick off with some of his quote-unquote family murdering some actor and actress in Hollywood. Yeah, LS420, you hit one of the things I was talking about. But I wonder how many of that particular individual's ideological followers are now in positions of power that are manipulating things to get that vision to come out to play.
That I can't say anything for or against. I don't know, but your theory
holds a bit of water.
No, something's going on, because like I do keep an eye on every so often, I've like some of the Redditors I keep an eye on. I keep an eye on just, some of the people who are downstream from that. In addition to a Discord server that I keep an eye on that is populated by kind of deep states, like basically like a lot of them are like the people who like exist to spread misinformation on behalf of the government, right? That's kind of the vibe I get from them, and they've let some things slip inadvertently. Now, like I'd kind of noticed, like starting at the beginning of the month, that's the kind of riot talking points were starting to come back. Like these guys are starting to pop up, like the government people are starting to talk about it. The, Antifa talking points are starting to sprout back up in all of the usual online spaces. These people, like hobby groups, Reddit and like, so like something has been happening that they have been seeding the information space to be primed for something to go down. But what I haven't figured out is why this particular time. There doesn't seem to be an advantage right now.
I may have a theory on that. You do have a lot of investigations underway right now, and what better time to distract and distress and cause riots than when an entire U.S. administration is under a microscope, why not distract people?
I don't believe that's outside their control because one, the fact that it's being even talked about. Second, some of the folks I've recommended you speak to, like the economist I gave you the link to, he's a good source because he knows a lot of these people with positions of influence personally. He said even before Biden got elected that as soon as he got into 2 years, they were going to find a way to remove him because if they wait until January 21st, Kamala can stay in power for 10 years. If they move him a day earlier, then she can only run for re-election once, which is why you'd see something happen in January 2023.
Gotcha.
Okay,
right.
can I offer a theory on your timing?
Sure.
Okay. The United States doesn't have doesn't technically have a national law enforcement agency. We have the FBI and we have the federal marshals, but they have very specific purviews, correct?
Yes, correct.
Well, now we have the Capitol Police.
Hypothetically, if enough crazy starts kicking off and we have to utilize the National Guard in a federalized capacity as a quote-unquote police force, that could be grounds, or Biden calling for that could be grounds for his cabinet to say, oh my gosh, we can't have this. He's obviously defunct under the 25th Amendment.
Yup.
And then miraculously, he's out of the picture.
Yeah.
And all of the stuff all of a sudden disappears.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe I'm completely out of my mind. Maybe my brain's toasted from too many hours in a CS chamber, but
well, that doesn't help.
Here's something else I'll throw out too. So, like, who else had I just want to poll the room. Who else got the feeling last year that they were really trying to instigate people who were right-leaning to do something drastic and try to kick off
absolutely. Every fucking day they were.
They've been doing that for close to a decade.
Well, no, I mean, who feels like it was really intense last year that they were trying?
Every single day. Yes, I agree.
They were trying to do that ever since Trump was elected president,
and it didn't bite. So
yeah.
No, it was always the far right, white ringers and all the white supreme pizzas and whatnot. But
hang on, Jimmy. Trouser or Trout down under, if you are still there, that is Nate. By the way, he just changed his name. We haven't heard much from you tonight. I do see you are still in the truck in the darkness, but if you are able to add to the conversation, please feel free to jump in at any time.
Yeah, man. I was just kind of waiting for everybody to be done talking, and I was also backing up into a dock, but I was docking. I know some of the guys are turned on by that, but
yeah,
you're docking, man. That may or may not be a home of suspicion point.
Yeah. So on my point on the military, that I think it was Lando
Calrissian. Yes.
Yeah, that guy was talking about.
I've been called worse.
It's not the soldiers that are failing. It's their leadership.
Yes.
It's the leadership of the military that is failing.
Specifically, the senior leaders.
Yes.
Yeah. It's them changing the recruiting standards and making everybody softer. That's what's going to cause the downfall of our military. I've been in both active and reserve status for 23 years now, and I've seen it all from the times where it was hardcore, and your NCOs could punch you in the face if they wanted to because you were acting like an idiot. And now you can't even make a soldier do push-ups when they're wrong. So
all of that
can't even say sir or ma'am in the Marines.
No, trust me, you can say it, but you might get in trouble for it.
Hey, Trouser. I'm sorry if that's not the name you want me to use.
You can call me Trouser, man. It's cool.
I actually got blood wings when I made my E4.
See?
So
I thought they called that Blood Eagle.
You got a real unit.
No, blood back then we were still using BDUs. And
versus BDSM. No, I'm fucking with you guys.
And
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We did
well,
that.
no, I'm clarifying it for the folks that don't know what it is, because I'm pretty sure Jackal has no idea. Crusader, he probably does. Jimmy, he may or may not.
We did that when I was a
Allegedly.
cadet. We did that when I was a going officer and I was a cadet. You know, I mean, I don't have to let the commandant find out we did that, but
Yeah, but what they would do back then when you still had pin on rank that went on your collars, if you were at a unit that was either mentally effed up or was super hardcore, they would put your new insignia on your collars without the little brass frog things on the back. And then they would take their fists and they would pile drive those right into your collarbones. I've still got the scars from where I got my blood pin.
Sounds lovely.
Hey,
Good time.
when I got promoted to sergeant, because we had switched over to ACUs with the Velcro patch in the center of the chest, they gave me the heart stopper.
Yep.
the Devin Hamlin treatment.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may or may not have broken somebody's sternum in that process.
Who hasn't? Let's just
May
be
or may
honest.
not.
Who hasn't?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
I
have
I
no
may just
recollection
be.
of the event in question.
I may just be an E5 who's getting ready to retire here in a couple of months, but I've given someone a 3-inch punch when putting their insignia in place.
3-inch punch in your world and 3-inch punch in mine is two different things.
What branch are you?
I'm in the Army.
So am I.
Psychological operations. So.
Okay, I'm chemical warfare, and I'm currently in a CA unit.
Okay.
King of Battle. King of Battle. And if you want to ask me about Ukraine, I'm going to, King of Battle, I have a little bit of an idea what they're doing. I'm going to tell you that most of the people giving you an assessment of that are complete idiots. Which ties into the comment I was going to make.
You think?
Yeah. There's a lot of misinformation floating around on that one.
Yeah.
We have slightly gone off the weeds, though, gentlemen. So let's get back on course. I'm going to actually. Who? And yes.
No, it's me. And it's for whoever it's for your government agents watching. I'm just going to say, what in the absolute fuck are you thinking trying to start a three-front? You can't win a war with Russia and China at the same time, but you're trying to start that and start a domestic conflict at the same time. What in the fuck are you thinking? You need to check your leadership.
Okay.
That doesn't end well.
I agree.
I will say this, though. We've been in the domestic front for quite some time now. So
25 years or so.
Yeah, we've been in a domestic cult or in a cult civil war for at least 20 years.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that, but now it's starting to up the ante, and the summer of love. We saw $20 billion in damages, or $2 billion in damages on the low end.
Right.
And the exact same people that are responsible for these alleged domestic terrorism things are still roaming around. Let's just say the potato in chief and come swallow a heels up, pull my Harris. Their tweets are still up and still active as of now, as we speak, that are calling for, let's just say, supplying those people with donations for bail reform.
To find out more, tune into Jimmy's Waffle World tomorrow at 7 p.m. Not to cut you off, Jimmy, but we gotta get
Can I address
moving here.
LS420's
yes,
question?
that is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have you answer that question, then we're gonna move on.
First of all, Cornbread, your military as well, correct?
Right, both enlisted and officer at different times, yes.
Okay. And Is Nate still on the chat where he can see this?
Yeah, I'm here.
Not Crusader Nate.
Which
sorry.
one? The trouser
Yeah,
snake?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Trouser
The
trout?
trouser snake.
Can you see the question that LS420 is asking?
All right, so how screwed us up is it? Again, I've been out for thankfully a while now. I'm not going back in. I do have a number of friends who are still in various capacities, some active duty. I know one that is actually involved in training new cadet. You know, he's a ROTC instructor. You know, this guy's, you know, definitely a constitutionalist, right?
Yeah.
He's been a good source of it, and what I'm hearing is just absolutely not good in how screwed his military is. So I'd offer one particular data point is, does anyone, if you haven't seen it, there was a 10th Mountain shoot house that went viral last year. 10th Mountain, for those who don't know, is a prestige unit in the Army. They have a reputation for being kind of hardcore, high speed, better trained than your average grunt in a regular unit somewhere else. They had a shoot house where they committed multiple severe safety violations, pointing weapons with live ammo at other members of their team while doing indoor room clearing operations. No stop was called to the operation. So that causes, you know, I'm not getting that kind of dirt from people in the live units because they're not doing that specific type of things, but that gives me severe concerns as to the actual technical competency that exists in some of these units. And kind of as, you know, we're seeing right now, and I'd refer you to the videos that we've seen from people who've gone to Ukraine in a mercenary capacity, you know, our recent veterans, and some of those guys have come back with their tails between their legs, kind of not able to believe the intensity of a real land war. So no, we're not ready. The Army is not in any kind of a condition to fight a real land war. And to put this in perspective with some data I was able to obtain today, the number of shells that the Russians fire per day ranges between 120,000 and 150,000. You know, that was at the peak a few months ago. It's slowed down to 50,000 on some days. The number of shells in one that we can produce in a year is 250,000, which means that there are days where they fired in a day and a half our entire ability of what we can make in a year.
Okay.
Just to give you an example of the kind of disparity we're talking about, like that, like if anybody thinks we're prepared for that, we're insane.
No.
Additionally, I'd say that last point, like again, our military also has leadership practices that are catered to our extremely permissive environment that make them vulnerable to indirect fires and air support. It's not good.
Now, Nate, what's your thoughts on this? Because when I give my thoughts, I'm probably going to
available. Yeah. He might be unloading right now.
Yeah. When I give my thoughts, I'm probably going to cause everyone to fill their pants. So
let me read the question one more time. Let's let Trouser Trout answer this. The name. Anyway, LS420 Stoner says, how screwed is the Army? Worst case scenario, if current year NATO military squared off with Russia, PLA, who'd win is the question.
Oh, the Army. We would definitely win. I know it seems like we're soft and we're weak, but when you look at the capacity and the abilities of the Russian Army as compared to our capacity and ability, we would destroy them in a matter of weeks, if not less than that. They don't have the will to fight. They don't have the training, the same training. Like I've been to the National Training Center 13 times. And you know, that we go out and we do maneuvers and we practice basically fighting the Russians is what it is back to again. And it's pretty hardcore, man. Like,
I'm going to partially disagree with you and partially agree with you. If it's a one-on-one between us and Russia and us and China, then yes, I completely agree. You are correct. If it's both at the same time, I don't think we could get out of it conventionally.
No, we would definitely need some backup.
Well, what I'm thinking is we would be growing some multi-story mushrooms over some cities and bases.
Unfortunately.
And that's, in my opinion, that is the only way we could break even on that.
And well, you also have to keep in mind the psychology of the civilian leadership. Again, like reasons that would dox myself. I have a little bit of insight into their psychology. It's a sport. The mentality of the people making the decisions is, to steal an analogy, they're like a trust fund kid who's realizing that the balance has dipped below 5 digits in their trust fund and they are out of money. So,
All right.
So, I mean, you're going to see fairly erratic behavior. The initial weapon in their war was supposed to be, the sanctions was supposed to crush the Russian economy and deprive them of resources. It hasn't happened. So the whole plan was off the rails immediately.
Gentlemen, we got to reel it back in a little bit.
Sorry about that.
I think we threw out the line and caught the trout in Jimmy's Waffle World. So
Jimmy's Waffle Trout.
That's tomorrow night.
Jimmy's Waffle Trout.
Oh gosh.
The trout wrapped in the blue waffle.
Billy, do you have an AI program to make a Jimmy's Waffle Trout?
I'm sharing this far and
Oh
wide.
God. I'd have to think about that.
A blue waffle
I
trout.
might be able to come out with something.
Waffle stomping a trout.
All right.
Why do you
Anyway,
think-
back.
why do you think my background lights
It's
are
blue.
blue, man?
Yeah, blue waffles. Anyway, so let's get back. I don't know how we got to where we got. We went from police brutality to World War really fucking fast. So let's bring this article back up. I'm sickened by what I saw and what we've learned from our extensive and thorough investigation, he said, and I've seen the video as DA Mulroy stated. You will too. In a word, it's absolutely appalling. On Thursday, family attorneys Ben Crump and Romanucci said the news today from Memphis officials that these 5 officers are being held criminally accountable for their deadly and brutal actions gives us hope as we continue to push for justice for Tyree. And then there's just a little bit more here in the article. If you want to check this article out so we're not spending all night on it, I'm going to copy and paste that into the live chat. Now, it is again from CNN, the most, I have to say this because of YouTube, the most trusted news source ever. Or should I say ever? It may be short for Communist News Network, but it is the best out there. Most reliable.
They're the most
trustworthy.
reliable television network in the airports.
Yeah.
So
Cringe News Network.
I
Cringe
haven't
News Network.
seen everything put out, but I have seen snippets, and this is just my opinion about what I've seen. I'm not putting anything else out there. I'm just saying this may or may not have been something personal. Maybe some people knew something
Sounds pretty
about
personal to me.
because why does it take 5 cops that are very much capable of taking a suspect down by themselves? Why does it take them this long and that much force to subdue this one person?
Right. Billy, I want to get your thoughts on this more because it sounds like you had a lot more to say on the subject regarding what's going to take place this weekend potentially. What are your thoughts there, sir?
Well, look, I mean, this whole thing is going to affect every one of us, right? I mean, look what happened after George Floyd.
Yeah.
Like, to say that everybody in this country was somehow affected by that in some way, even if it's a little way, there's some way that the establishment did things to, in relation to what happened there. And I think this is going to have a similar effect. I mean,
I don't know about you guys.
Too early to tell, but good.
Yeah. I just remember A Summer of Love and Peace. That's yeah, hardly.
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, due to these 5 guys, I mean, incompetence, complete incompetence.
Yeah.
It's going to affect all of us, and that what really just pisses me off, because you'll have the media infantilizing us, that they treat the population that like we don't know how to get along,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, don't treat me like I don't know how to deal with people, because some people don't know how to deal with people, right? And don't have to like force educate the children in these diverse and inclusion things that are just complete. It makes things worse. I think it divides us more. I mean,
Yes. Harvard
I
Business
try.
Review has been proven.
What's that?
Harvard Business Review has been proven to make things worse.
Yeah. I mean, I travel a lot for work, or at least I used to before the pandemic. And I did a little bit of travel last year. And I have noticed the difference in dealing with people of a different race in different parts of the country that I didn't feel before. And it's a feeling. It was like, this isn't how it was before. I didn't feel this way before. I mean, I went into a place in Georgia. Last time I was in Georgia, went to a store, and it was just like Target or something. And I hand the guy my money. The guy didn't even look at me. I mean, he was a black guy. Didn't even look at me. And I said hello. He didn't say hello or anything. And he took out my change. I paid cash, took out the change, and he just put it on the counter. Didn't like hand it to me, didn't say thank you, didn't say have a nice day or anything, and didn't look at me the entire time. I did nothing to that guy. Nothing. And it's like, that's the tension that's there now. That wasn't there.
I've observed that just traveling within my home state.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will say this, everybody is going to play devil's advocate. Like myself, there are very few black folks around in my area. Very few. And am I going to treat them as the social standard or whatever the fucking bullshit is going on in the world? Absolutely not. I'm going to say, hey, how's it going, man? I'm Jimmy. Here's, let me buy you a beer, and
here's some waffles.
Let me show you my waffles.
Well, it's like,
let me show you my waffles.
We should just all treat people like they're people, right? Not whatever color they are. That's the way I've always dealt with people.
Exactly.
And
even if they do weird things with trout.
Yeah.
Well, there's some exceptions in this world.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, you can be an asshole white guy. You can be an asshole black guy. You can be a twat white girl. You could be a twat black girl. Everybody's individual.
Can you be a twat white guy though?
Yes.
Look at the Oval Office.
Waffle
I call
trout.
dibs on that one.
Bad cat guy.
So I believe you treat people the way, based on how they are.
Oh, yeah.
So, but, the way they want us to treat each other is based off, some unmutable characteristic like your skin color. So fucking stupid.
Well, trying to be colorblind is perpetuating systemic racism.
Don't even get me started on that bullshit.
You bastard. But I will say this though. Back in 5th grade, before the whole 2001 Twin Towers falling and whatnot, there was one kid that moved to my area from Colorado Springs. His name was Cameron Wilson. I love that dude to death. And Rhino, don't judge me. I've seen that fucking judgmental little bastard.
Hey, road noise, waffle trout. Come on.
Cameron was the only black kid in our entire grade. Me and him hit it off day one. I'm still friends with him to this day. I love that dude to death. We share memes. We share jokes. Racist jokes. It is what it is.
Waffle recipes.
Well, he's more of a pancake guy. trying to convert him
opinion
to
on
the
all this.
waffle ways.
I'd
But
be really curious to hear his opinion on all this.
But
Right.
I do want that is one thing I do want to bring Cameron onto one of my streams one of these days where we're just talking shit about current events, because I know him and we do have a similar kind of way of thinking about the ways of the world. You're muted, Ryan. You muted.
Rhino, you're muted.
Well, I fucked myself. I wanted to say, do you see how naturally the waffles come to Jimmy? It just flows off his tongue.
It's just natural, man. But I'm just saying, I want to get Cameron on one of my streams one of these days. Hopefully I can. He's busy off doing his own thing, which is understandable. But I had my my buddy Synergy, my Instagram buddy Synergy on a live previous live stream, had a
great guy, by the way.
Another Instagram friend on my live stream, so, but I mean, it is what it is, man.
Synergy.
All right.
Twat Trout's asking to.
Yeah.
Every time I come back, I'm just going to change my name because
every time it's the same guy.
I don't mean to waffle, man, but you get me on the fucking live stream and I fucking waffle, man.
All right, so we're going to look at this darkness here. I think there's a steering wheel and some knuckles and a face in the distance. What are your thoughts on this news article regarding the dog pile on this Tyree individual? What are your thoughts on how that's going to play out and potentially the dangers it's going to create in the country in the next few days or months, depending on how this goes?
Yeah, I think it was pretty bad. I haven't seen the video yet. I've been kind of waiting until I got off work to see it.
You'll see it here soon if you stick around.
From the sounds of it, though, it does sound like it was something personal. And I agree with, I forget who it was earlier, but I'm glad there wasn't any white cops involved in this.
Yep.
Because they would be burning down cities already.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't have waited for a verdict or a charge to come out at all. It wouldn't have mattered. Body camera footage coming out, and there would have been fires and death.
Yeah.
As far as what's to come, I'm going to guess it's going to be kind of a quiet weekend. You got Antifa already up in arms because one of their idiots got shot by some cops down in Georgia for shooting at the cops already.
Yeah.
So they're already doing their thing. But as far as the Bureau of Land Management goes, or LAMO management, whatever you want to call them,
Bureau
I
of
think they're
Land
going to stay
Management?
pretty quiet because it just exuberates the black on black crime rate.
Well,
For those of you a little bit slow as to what he just said there, I'll give you a refresher in the chat. Bureau of Land Management. They're going to be peaceful this weekend.
So I just opened up Twatter.
Oh, joy.
And, oh, yes, very much. So much joy on Twatter. Someone decided to stomp out the front windshield of a police cruiser in New York City in Times Square. This comes
Otherwise
from
a normal Friday.
Yeah, just another typical day.
It's another day in the city.
So,
Democrat ran cities.
This comes from Anomaly.
Denver.
Allegedly. This comes from Anomaly at Legendary Energy. I followed this dude for quite some time, and he is he's pretty much on the same level as I am.
Lots of waffles.
lots of waffles and let's just say sour syrup to say against those that are let's just say riding the Trump train.
I hope he's not referring to syphilis because that's what I got out of sour syrup.
Yeah,
I was just
No,
thinking blue
let's-
waffles
no,
and sour
Let's
syrup
tell
sounds
us,
great.
Rhino. What happened?
I'm gonna
ahead.
say
Sorry.
I'm gonna say Anomaly at Legendary Energy is probably one of the best conservative, not conservative, libertarian people to follow on Twitter, because as like he has been doing, and I have been doing as well, calling out Trump on his bullshit and whatnot. That's a different fucking story. But he's the one to say, hey, shit is more than rather fucked up, and y'all better fucking pay attention.
If you want to go ahead and drop his link in the chat for anybody who might, use Twitter. I have an account. I don't really use it, but for anybody that does, you can check that out. Jimmy, if you'd post that in the chat. Here's what we're going to do. Here's my thought here. We've been on for an hour and 42 minutes on the tube of you. We are also streaming live on Twitch and Rumble as we speak. I'm considering jumping over to New Tech only to continue this. I want to show you footage of what has come out regarding this case. It is, and here's the thing. Here's what really pisses me off. It is on YouTube right now. It's NBC News. But remember a few months ago, I posted a political ad from Eric Greitens, and it was the rhino hunting permit. And I got a community guideline strike for that. And then I got another one just a month later for talking about coof. So I get a feeling that if I show this footage, they're going to get mad at me and give me another strike, which wouldn't kill my channel, but it'd put me back on thin ice. And then we'd have to skate around topics again. And I don't like doing that because fuck you, Susan. Oh, my bad. Community guideline strike right there. Anyway, NBC News on YouTube is where this video can be found, but we may play it on Rumble and Twitch only. If that's the case, what I'm going to do now is post the link to the Rumble in the chat. And then Twitch, it's just Twitch. If you have the app on your phone, your Nintendo Switch, your PlayStation, wherever you have Twitch, you just type in RedPillRhino. You'll see that I'm live right now. You just click view live, enter, and blah, blah, blah. It's pretty easy. Twitch, I will tell you, I need to start streaming on MGTOW.tv because Twitch deletes our streams after a few weeks. So you're only going to see the latest catalog. Anyway, for those of you that are watching now and want to continue on with this video, which I hope you do, join us over on Rumble or Twitch. The link is in the description in the live chat right now. If you're watching on Twitch, you can also see that link. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the link now. But we are going to go to New Tech. I think it's wise to do so. So I'm going to see if the numbers are already starting to switch over. Let me check really quick. But if you are here now, dump us and head over to Rumble. I see 5 have joined over there already. So the rest of you, if you could follow us over, I'd be much appreciative of that. I'll do my shameless plug. Thanks to Billy Von Baum. Please subscribe to Billy Von Baum. We have a website, and you can find all the cool shit there. So all of our channels, it is at www.redpillrhino.com. I'll put that in the chat as well. Let's see. In all
Also,
caps,
get yourself a Red Pill Rhino koozie.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Put that on screen really quick so everybody can see that. Yes, Jimmy is our advertiser, like Wheel of Fortune, the chick that would always fucking prizes. Anyway, if you want to get merch, you can head over to Red Pill. I like this, Billy. Again, we need to talk. I need to shoot you a message so I can get you squared away on that, and so we can keep this going for the next year. Because I like it. This way I don't have to spend 10 minutes telling you what websites to go to. If you want to donate to the channel, if you feel we've added value to your day or ruined your day with the trout story, please consider donating. Go to redpillrhino.com.
It's a good thing I missed that story.
Yeah, it was good.
It would have mind fucked him.
Yeah, so you can find the links to donate or buy merch there. I hate to be that guy because some of these Red Pill guys are like, yeah, maybe I should start selling T-shirts, but that would be gay. Like, Okay, but I do sell T-shirts, so fuck you and fuck anybody who agreed with them too. No,
I don't buy
I just do it
so.
for fun.
You know, as
If
long as they're
Pop sells
quality
merch, I
t-shirts,
sell
that's
merch.
what matters.
What's that?
I said as long as they're quality t-shirts, that's what matters.
Hey man, they've got my logo all over them. That you can get yoga pants too.
But are
if
they
you
diverse?
really want yoga pants.
I'd look pretty good in yoga pants. I'm not
There
gonna
you
lie.
go. So
You know what would be hilarious for you to
Hey,
do?
what's that?
Get some yoga pants made up with your logo on each cheek.
I think they are on both cheeks right now.
And on the
maybe
knees.
No, what I'm
On
gonna
the
do is
knees.
I'm gonna go review his business on Google and rate it LGBTQIA plus friendly.
There you go. All
Safe
right,
procedures.
gentlemen, we're heading over to New Tech. Please join us over on Rumble. I'm going to do this again, just for those of you that didn't see it in the chat the first time, in the live chat right now. Here is the link to the show on Rumble. All right, and we'll get back to this. We're going to go to break, and then I'll show you the video, and we have another couple articles regarding a certain Pelosi family. That's all I'm going to say
Yeah,
here.
so we don't get hammered on YouTube.
Yeah, if you want to find it, well, somebody got hammered, but it's not going to be us. Not
Allegedly.
Anyway. All right, we are going to break. See you on the other side on New Tech.